What's up, everyone? Pavlok here, and I just finished watching the Microsoft press conference at E3, and by surprise, it was actually shown on live TV on Spike TV for just Microsoft. But before I get ready to talk about my reactions about what I just seen on the conference, and it was pretty good in my opinion. But before I get ready to start, I noticed that when I went to on Spike TV, they're only showing like the Microsoft conference for E3 and also EA, but Sony's not going to be on Spike TV, and I was wondering why. That was kind of weird in my opinion that both Sony and Nintendo's not going to be on Spike TV, unlike the Microsoft and EA press conferences today. But let's get started. I'm about to go through all the games that they showed and talked about during the conference, and then at the end I'll just give my little reactions and everything and stuff that I really wanted to see, and I'm really kind of surprised at the end about it. But in my opinion, I think they really did pretty good, and much better improvement than last year, to say the least. But I did watch the pre-show, and before the conference started, it was just like a 30-minute pre-show before they hit the stage and everything. So for the pre-show, they just showed Lord of the Rings, Shadow of the Morrow, and the new Homefront, which is called Homefront: The Revolution. And they showed some gameplay for both games. I'm not really too big of a Lord of the Rings fan. I never played any of the games or watched any of the movies before. And I've seen a little bit of gameplay from the previous old Homefront game. I think it was called Homefront Battlefront or something like that. I think it was for the PS3 and the Xbox 360. And this actual Homefront, the Revolution, actually looked pretty good in my opinion. And I think it made me want to get the game. So even though I never played a Homefront game before, but those were the only two games that they really showed during the pre-show. There wasn't really nothing else or any kind of special announcements or anything. But diving into the Microsoft conference, the first game that they kicked the show off with was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now this was a game I really wanted to see, and I was really expecting to see a little bit about, find out more about, and see what it's going to bring to the table and what it's going to be like, and compared to like Ghost, which was a major flop in my opinion, wasn't really all that good and very disappointing, and I just put the game down and didn't want to really play it anymore. So I wanted to trade in Call of Duty Ghosts and picking up just like Black Ops 2 again and going back to the old days and playing the best COD games called Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 along with the original Black Ops. But they showed the campaign, of course, and of course when you look at the Call of Duty campaign of Call of Duty games, the campaign's always good, and I was really hoping that they would show like some multiplayer gameplay here at E3, but they did not show that. But I had a couple notes written down from what I just saw, experience from the campaign. It looked like a movie. It looked graphically good, and I really wanted to see a little bit more of the multiplayer. I was hoping they would show that, but they didn't. And from the looks of it, you could use some of the soldiers were using boosters, and it looked exactly like Crysis. It looks exactly like Crysis mixed with Resistance and a little bit of most of all those all those shooters that you usually play, that most people play out there, like Resistance, Crysis 3, a little bit of Gears of War, a little bit. It had mixed with like a little bit of Halo. It had all those a little tie-in with all those shooters combined with it. But for the most part, it looks like Crysis, exactly almost like it, with their armor and everything. Some of those different little robotic little just machines that they had like these little flying swarming machines that was in the sky. They kind of reminded me like those little machines off of Matrix, the Matrix movie. But it looked pretty cool though. But gameplay wise and graphically, all the weapons and everything, and I noticed from like the gameplay from the trailer they showed from the campaign with the grenades, it's pretty cool how you can cycle through the grenades, and you can throw like a grenade, and they had the player that was playing Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, he threw the grenade and the grenade just flew. It was like hovering in the air, and it could just like fly towards them, and it would explode right off the bat. And there's different types of grenades that you can cycle from, and it's pretty cool from the looks of it. But other than that, it wasn't all that to me. I mean, I see for these Call of Duty games when they come out, I just get like I got hyped for like Call of Duty Ghosts, and that wasn't. I thought that game was gonna be like the Call of Duty 4 killer, but it was nothing like that. So I'm not gonna really get to my as being a COD guy, a Call of Duty guy now, just from recently playing Halo and everything in the past before I even picked up a controller and played Call of Duty for the first time. I'm not gonna try to get my hopes up and hope that Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is gonna be all that good. But who knows? It might be a little bit better than Ghost. Who knows what's gonna happen? But continuing on, next they show Forza 5, Forza Motorsport 5, and the Nürburgring Circuit free DLC that was announced for Forza Motorsport 5. That's gonna be free to play for those who download it on Xbox Live. But that wasn't the new game. That was just like a little expansion DLC announcement. But I guess the actual game was just like Forza Horizon 2 that they talked about. That'll be coming September 30th of this year, which is an exclusive. And from the conference, I think it was just like only 2 exclusives, but it's really hard. I couldn't really tell what was going to be exclusive, and another 2 or 3 exclusives at the most, but or maybe 3 or 4. Who knows? But as I go down the list. So next was Evolve, which was like the look like it just looked exactly like Left 4 Dead, where you can just they had like it's like four player co-op, and you could just play with different classes like the medic. They had different classes of choice like the medic or assault rifle class. They showed like one character just using like the chain gun, I want to say, in one of the classes, and you can also control the villain, which was like it's called the Hunter or something. I didn't look into it too much, but I guess like the villain, just like it's 4 characters just searching for like the Hunter, which is the big time villain in the game of Evolve. But I'm guessing that's gonna be an exclusive too. So next was Assassin's Creed Unity, which was like a gameplay demo, and I think they called it Assassin's Creed Unity because it's like a 4-player co-op game where 4 people can just play through missions together all at once and play through them just all at the same time. I don't think it's going to be like a single player game. I guess you could probably play by yourself if you want to, but I think it's going to be much more fun. And as you go through the missions together, if you get 3 other friends together, or maybe get online with 3 other friends online and play through the missions and everything. So I guess that's probably why it's called. It just made me think that's why it's called Assassin's Creed Unity, just being a co-op game and all. So next was just Dragon Age Inquisition, which was announced for coming out October 7th of this year, and they showed like a gameplay of that. Sunset Overdrive, which will be released October 28th of this coming year, well this year pretty much, and Chaos Squad that was announced for Sunset Overdrive, which is an 8-player multiplayer mode, and Dead Rising 3 expansion pack where they show, I didn't know what it was. It was just so much going on the screen. You could play as, I guess it's like a Dead Rising 3 expansion pack where you could just play as Street Fighter characters. They had Ryu, Ken. They had like a zombified Bison, M. Bison from Street Fighter, Felicia from Darkstalkers, Baby Bonnie Hood, or AKA BB Hood from, I don't know what game she was in, but I know she's in like Marvel vs. Capcom. Those fighting games, and also other characters as well, but I didn't know what it was really called. And I think they had Frank West, I remember, from the old Dead Rising, the very first Dead Rising, Dead Rising 2, Chuck Greens from Dead Rising 2. And then right after that was Dance Central Spotlight, and also which is another dance game, but I don't play any of those types of games, so didn't really interest me too much. And also Disney Fantasia, which was another, I guess that's going to be like an add-on to it or something, or maybe it's that. I think that's like a downloadable game from Xbox Live. So it was like tons of games. And also before I continue, what I also liked about this conference, it was like small talk. It wasn't too much talking. It was just like they went from game to game. They didn't stay stuck on one game for like a while, like for too long. They went on, they just announced the game, showed some gameplay of it, or maybe a gameplay trailer, and then they went on to the next game. They didn't really go out there and just talk, run their mouths or anything like that. So they didn't just like they jumped from different varieties of video games and different games that were being shown on stage. So next was Fable Legends, which is it features co-op multiplayer, and it was announced that the beta will be available this fall. of this year. And you can also play as the villain this time from in this Fable Legends game. But I never played Fable before, so next Project Spark, which was I think that was already announced last year. And what really threw me off, I want to say, is that I saw Conker on the screen, so I thought it was gonna be like another Conker game, like Conker's Bad Fur Day or something like that, a brand new Conker game. It really threw me off, but I guess he's gonna be like a add-on to Project Spark or something. So that really just was like, that was just like, it was just like I don't know what to describe it. I just was so excited for it. I said, it's about to be another Conker game, but he was just on the screen, and it was just like available in Project Spark, and that was it. So it's so sad it wasn't a Conker game. I thought it was. I really wanted it to, since it's been so long. Next we have Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm guessing this is an indie game, and I didn't really see too much of the gameplay because when I was watching on Spike TV, it froze. My TV just froze for a minute, and then they just skipped towards Halo 5 Guardians, which was the next game that they show right after. So I'm guessing Ori and the Blind Forest is like an indie game or something. So I saw very little gameplay of it and something like that. So until my TV froze, and it jumped to Halo 5 Guardians, which is the brand new Halo that's coming out next year in 2015. So they showed a little gameplay of Halo 5 Guardians, and after that, it looked pretty sweet. They just featured that new character that was I don't even know. They didn't even introduce him, but you can see him, like if you guys watch the trailer and stuff, you can see him be featured, and he's actually talking with his deep voice and everything. So right after Halo 5, they had like a little announcement with you'll be able to play Halo by November 11th. You'll be able to play Halo the Master Chief Collection that will be available this year. And the Halo Master Chief Collection, you'll be able to switch between the old and new graphics. So you'll be able to switch from classic to new, because they updated the graphics to HD and everything from the original Xbox to like the next gen graphics and everything, which is pretty cool. And also contained in the collection is also the Halo Nightfall digital series. I don't know too much about that. I think that's like a episodic TV. Is that a TV series or what? Halo Nightfall. And then also Halo 5 Guardians beta will be available this coming December. So I guess all people who are excited for Halo 5, which looks really good, the beta, you guys will be able to play the beta this coming December. So next they showed, I guess was a Limbo game. Was it a new Limbo, or was it called Inside? I don't know for sure, because that really threw me off with the title. So I don't know if it's a new Limbo game. It looked exactly like it almost, but the difference from the very first Limbo game, that was a PSN game or something like that. He was dark and he just had yellow eyes. You couldn't really see like his body or anything, so they added like actual color or something. Or maybe it's like another version of Limbo, but it was just called Inside or something. So they had something called IDA Xbox games, and it was so many other games, but one game that really caught my eye was the Mighty 9, which is going to be one of the IDA Xbox games. And they had other games like Hell Raiders or something like that. Some other ones, White Knight or something. They had many other games, but Mighty 9 was something that really caught my eye. It was almost like Mega Man, and I love Mega Man, so that really was my favorite. That really caught my eye out of the IDA Xbox games. So next was the Rise of Tomb Raider trailer, and that was very surprising. I already knew it was Tomb Raider right off the bat when she just how it presented itself and just the presentation of it. So I knew it was like a new Tomb Raider game, especially when she took her hood off and said Lara Croft at the end of it. The next game that was shown was The Witcher 3. So we have a new Witcher game, The Witcher 3, called The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And it was gameplay of that, a little gameplay of it. And so for most of these games as I announced them so far, some of them just were like shown, some were just like gameplay, not gameplay, but just like trailers. They didn't show actual gameplay for some of these games as I go through them. But Witcher 3 had actual gameplay where they played it for a couple minutes here and there. And then I guess the next coming game was like an original from the Xbox, and I never heard of this game before. It was called Phantom Dust. So I don't know too much about it. I never heard of that, and I guess it was on the original Xbox or something like that. And as I come to the close, these last three games that were shown, they had Tom Clancy's The Division, which was announced last year, but they had new gameplay, and it really looks good. This is one of my favorite games that they showed, Tom Clancy's The Division, by far, and which will be coming next year in 2015. But there's no actual date or anything, but it's coming out next year along with Halo 5 and others. Next was Scalebound, and I thought it was like a God of War, a mix between God of War and Devil May Cry, I want to say. So it looked pretty good, but it's kind of really hard to tell what games are going to be good, and they can kind of throw you off with these trailers. Nothing against any of these conferences or anything, but some of these games could look good from just viewing the trailers and everything. But when you go to play the game yourself, the difference maker is just hands-on experience when you go to play the games, and they could really turn out to be really disappointing. Just like, for example, Call of Duty Ghosts. But compared to the trailers and stuff, and it can really be a letdown and everything. And you might just be like you'll be like just regretting to buy the game, regret buying the game from just trusting like the visual effects from just like the trailer and stuff, and not experiencing the game. Just playing the game can be really different. The really difference maker when it comes down to some of these games. But most of the games that they show were really good. So after Scalebound was surprisingly Crackdown, which was a gameplay trailer, and that was the final game, the very last game that they showed during this conference. And one thing I want to say, those are all the games, but that didn't really have a release date. So they wanted to show. I feel like they wanted to show Crackdown just to know that it's coming back to Xbox, and it's coming soon. So it was nice to see a old game from the past brought back to life and just brought back onto the next generation consoles, which I hope to see for like Sony, hopefully for Sony's conference that'll be up later today. So that was the last game, Crackdown. But one thing I want to say, I'm surprised there wasn't no sort of Gears of War. And one thing I want to check right quick, I want to see how much time I have on this camera. I got 17 minutes in, but I still have up to 23 minutes before it automatically starts another part, but I'll be done a bit before that. But I'm surprised they didn't have like a Gears of War announcement, like a new Gears of War coming to Xbox One. But as I go back to some of these games, some of them are like most of them have like multiplayer, and sometimes I think that I want to say this, not every game needs multiplayer. Like, I think they did that with God of War, and that's just a random game I want to throw out there that they added multiplayer to, that I feel that was unnecessary. That it was good as is, and it had like unnecessary multiplayer added to it, and it was good as a single player game. And some of these games, like let me see, I'm just trying to go through some of them. Like Assassin's Creed, do you guys think that Assassin's Creed is any fun with the multiplayer, or did you guys like the single player only? Because some of these, like Assassin's Creed Unity, I guess it's going to be like a multiplayer game that to really get the whole experience, you're going to have to probably play multiplayer, and it won't be as fun when you're playing single player. And I think they purposely threw that name in there, Unity, for Assassin's Creed, for to get more people to play together, and they can just play the single player together with their friends and stuff to have more fun. But my favorite game, I would say, was I love Sunset Overdrive. That's the game I wanted to really see out of all the other games. But I also love Crackdown, and those were my top two games, Crackdown and Sunset Overdrive. And Halo 5 Guardians, and the nice little announcement with the Halo the Master Chief Collection. That was another good announcement. So for those who loved Halo 2, which was honestly the best Halo game in my opinion, that'll be a great pickup for later this year, coming November 11th. But other than those games, and I also like Scalebound and all those other games, I don't know. I think they lacked a little bit of. Do you guys think they lacked a little bit of killer apps here and there? Because when I think of killer apps, I think of Halo, Gears of War, and Forza. And I think that as far as killer apps go, I think Halo 5 is their best one, along with next to Crackdown and Forza Horizon 2. But I'm not even a big fan of the racing games, so who knows these other games look good, and I think they honestly did better than last year. But some of these games, I don't know which ones are exclusive, which one's gonna stay actually exclusive. Cause some games like um, Sunset Overdrive, I'm not really sure if that's an actual exclusive or not. But I just heard about it being an exclusive in parentheses for now, and maybe it'll be available for PlayStation 4 or other consoles. But that's it. But those are all the other games that they showed. Nothing else. But those are the only games that interest me the most is Crackdown and Sunset Overdrive, and then I like the little announcement with the Halo Master Chief Collection. That's pretty much it. And I'm just surprised there's no new Gears of War. After they just did, I think Gears of War Judgment, I think it was with just Baird that was in the game. But I think that they really did much better this year. But I'm not really. I wish they had like a little bit more killer apps. It's nice to see a lot of a variety of games, not just shooters all the time. But I just really like the conference, but not really too many killer apps I want to say for the least, except for Halo 5 and Crackdown, in my opinion. But what did you guys think of the conference? I know EA is coming up next, so I just wanted to get this video in right quick to give my thoughts about Microsoft's Game On conference kicking off E3 2014. It's definitely my favorite time of the year, and I've been looking forward to this for all this year and stuff. It's my favorite time of the year next to WrestleMania, to say the least. And I'm interested to seeing what EA is going to bring. And I'm going to say it right now. I hope to see Mass Effect 4, being a big Mass Effect fan. So I won't know until it comes on in the next several minutes, since they start next. And then I guess Ubisoft and Sony will be streaming later today, and not being on Spike TV and all. So I guess that's it for this video. I don't know what you guys thought about the conference, but I think they did pretty good, but not too many killer apps in my opinion again. But I think they did a lot better this year, and I love Crackdown and Sunset Overdrive the most. So I'm excited to see what EA and Ubisoft and Sony's going to bring. So I'll be back with those conferences on my YouTube channel and try to upload these videos. As long as they are, they're going to probably take a while. But I think they're definitely worth it, because I love talking about E3. And it's definitely my favorite time of the year. So let's hope to see some better games.